Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about masks in schools and any other articles of clothing that may pull up, push up, or pop up along the way. We're going to do this because this topic has somehow re entered the national discussion for some reason. And some of the people involved in the conversation have become, well, downright frisky while expressing their opinion. And it is just that, an opinion. So, today I'm going to lay out some cold, hard truths about this as I see it. And the first thing we're going to start off with is acknowledging that the only reason there isn't a mask mandate at every school in this country is because it's too hard to show with any degree of certainty that a student picked up the virus at the school. If it could be shown with any degree of certainty that a student was infected at the school, we'd have mask mandates everywhere. But because we can't, they're kind of immune from the liability. Because if little Jimmy picked it up at the school and then went home and took out grandma, I'd be willing to bet that a half-decent lawyer could make the case that the school was being negligent and derelict in their duty for not requiring masks. So, that's the reality. Now, there are people making the argument that schools don't have the power to do this. That's ridiculous. They absolutely do. To say otherwise is just silly and denying everything that is reality-based. I went to school in Florida, went to high school in Florida. I couldn't wear flip-flops in Florida because it was a safety issue. I might stub my toe. I'm fairly certain that our current public health issue that has taken out more than 600,000 people is probably a little bit more severe than a stubbed toe. The school absolutely has the power to do this for safety reasons. Beyond that, schools regulate dress all the time for things that aren't safety reasons. They regulate it simply because somebody got their feelings hurt or somebody doesn't like someone else's fashion sense. Pull up your pants, boy, right? School boards across the country perceived that as some kind of problem rather than an attack on a certain subculture. So what was the solution? Shorts under pants, that's super offensive somehow. So cover it up. Cover it up. That's the solution. That's what the school boards made them do. They can absolutely regulate dress. What about bra straps? School boards across the country got it in their mind that that little itty-bitty piece of fabric that's showing is the reason that little Jimmy is distracted, not the habit of objectifying women. So what was the solution? Cover it up. The ultimate ha-ha moment in this is when you realize that in this case, that really is the solution. The problem originates with stuff coming out of people's mouth and noses. The solution is to cover it up. They absolutely have the power. I would say they have the duty to do it as well. I would suggest that not protecting the students in this way is negligent. That's the way I see it. But they can't really be held accountable. So, from here, we have to kind of ask ourselves, well, why isn't it happening? Because a whole bunch of parents walk in and scream, it's not your job to make health decisions for my child. It's your job to educate. See, I don't believe that. I don't believe that's a good faith argument on their part because I don't believe they care about education. If they did, they would have educated themselves on mask usage. If you want your child to be educated, you yourself have to be educated. You can't tell a child anything. You have to show them. So if you believed in education, You would certainly educate yourself before walking into a school board meeting and yelling and screaming and ranting and raving. I don't believe it has to do with education. I believe it is a willingness to risk students, teachers, support staff, and anybody they come in contact with to own the libs. I think that's really what it's about. I don't believe it's about health decisions or education. Something that drove me wild over this weekend was watching the anti-mask crowd say that airlines had banned masks because they don't work. And sure enough, it didn't take me long to figure out why they were saying this and why these memes developed. It's because we live in a clickbait world, and a whole bunch of headlines said that airlines banned mask usage. Now, the reality is that they're banning cloth masks in favor of N95s and the like. It's not an anti-mask move. It's a pro-mask move. They're eliminating the least effective forms of masks and requiring the most effective forms. But because they don't care about education, they never actually clicked on the article. They just read the headline, suffered a little bit of confirmation bias, and created memes with it. I don't believe they care about education at all. Schools throughout history have held it within their power to regulate dress, to provide for student safety. It's not even a question of whether or not they have the power to do it. It's really more of a question of whether or not they're obligated to do it. I think a lot of people believe they are, and I'm pretty sure that a half-decent lawyer could make the case that it is, in fact, the school's responsibility to protect them and to mitigate in any way they can while they're there. But we just can't prove that that's where they were infected, so they're off the hook. But distracted Jimmy over a bra strap, well, that gets immediate attention. I wonder how distracted Jimmy's going to be if he's carrying the knowledge that he picked something up at that school, took it home, and took out grandma. Pretty sure that would impact his studies a little bit more than a visible bra strap. I don't believe it's about education. It's about a willingness to risk others to prove a political point and couching it in the idea that there is some debate over this. There's not. Masks work, period, full stop. The only discussion is over which masks work the best. So it's shelterhousenwfl.org. shelterhousenwfl.org. If you didn't see the exchange on Twitter, somebody just basically said they would donate $200 to a charity of my choice if I could find a way to tie bra straps to masks in schools. So here's the video. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.